Just how long should your novel be? Welcome back to Writer's Theory. I'm James Winterthorn, and in this video, I want to discuss novel length, my history with it, what feedback I've gotten from writers, and just what the industry and market trends are for the length of novels. I went through school many years ago, almost 20 now, and at that time, the length of a novel, the beginning length of what we called a novel, was 80,000 words. Anything short of that would be either considered, maybe if it was like 50 to 80, or 40 to 80 or 30, would be considered a novella or a short novel. And anything short of that would be considered a short story. These were loose guidelines. Nobody's out publishing these, mandating them. There's no federal guideline for how long a novel needs to be. Those were just the understood lengths at which you called each type of book. And so when I created N90 Novel Roadmap, the goal for writing a novel in 90 days was to achieve 80,000 words, what I learned and what I still think of as the minimum length of a novel. Now, I was quite surprised when I got feedback from writers and comments on social media posts, things like that, that 80,000 words is not the minimum. Like, people very adamant and borderline upset that I suggested that a novel starts at 80,000 words. So I was a little baffled first at that I was incorrect, or that I might be incorrect, and the level of enthusiasm that some people had about what point a novel is a novel. And so I wanted to discuss that a little bit. First, what my initial reaction is to novel lengths and what I think they should be, or what my feeling is about it. We'll look at some real data, and then I'll get to an ultimate point, or my last bit of advice, which will be a little more objective than my just personal opinions. So first, I already mentioned that when I learned how long a novel was, that starting length was 80,000 words. And that was still a relatively short book. Like one that could be read, if you were really into it, could be read in a weekend. I'm here thinking that 80,000 words is just the start. Anything short of that, like, you can still publish as a book, it can still be printed, but we considered it a novella. And apparently that term has faded away and is relatively obscure now. So I guess it would just be a short novel. So if it's not 80,000 words, at what point does a novel become a novel? And I guess that is just up to whoever is publishing it or whoever writes it and call it a novel. I've heard as low as 30,000 words for a novel, which is incredibly short. And if you want to call it a novel, I guess that's fine. I still consider 80,000 words to be that mark. I know that there are some young adult books that start around 50,000 words that we consider novels. But even that is a relatively short story for something that's novel length. So my first reaction is that it's not readers that are saying this word length is what a novel is. It's not publishers that are saying this is when a novel begins. It's us as writers that are making this determination. We want to write a novel. That novel is 40,000 words. So maybe it doesn't reach that minimum threshold that was previously understood, but it's still a novel. And I wrote a novel that's 40,000 words. So there you go. It's a novel. But it's writers that are making this determination, not the general market for books. And maybe it doesn't need to be a market decision. Maybe it is just writers writing their own stories. So what I did, I asked ChatGPT for what the average length of novel was for novels that are selling this year. And so this is what we've got. It gave me a breakdown between 2024 and 2025 of the average length of novels. And so it broke it down by genre, which of course is going to be a determining factor in how long a book is. But the total range is 20,000 words to 150,000 words. Like pretty big range. Okay, like those could all be novels. Fair enough. But we look at the lower end of that range, and middle grade, which is a genre tailored for younger readers, is the 20,000 to 55,000 word area, right? And then the next range, which I considered novella before, tends to be 55 to 80,000 words. So that's young adult. Young adult is a huge genre, so that's not to be taken lightly. So we could realistically start around 50,000 words. We have literary fiction starting at 80, romance starting at 50, mystery thriller starting at 80, historical fiction at 100, science fiction at 90. I don't know about that. Fantasy starting at 100. I don't know about that. Those seem low. But if this is the average of books that are coming out right now, that just is what it is. So the range is great. Like there's a lot of, I am incorrect in saying that a novel starts at 80,000 words. Now, if we remove the young adult reader and the young reader from this equation, 80,000 words comes back around as the beginning length of a book. You have romance in there, which is a little shorter, but 80,000 is still a good marker for what a novel should be, according to what's been sold recently. So what does that look like? So it says the standard novel length, the average best-selling novel, fiction novel, is around 99,000 words, with over 55% of books falling between 80 and 105,000 words. So that is what I expected. And I know that we're going to write stories at whatever length that they're going to be. But in terms of what is selling, 80,000 to 105,000 seems to be the sweet spot for writing a novel. So that's what objectively the market is saying. So that is my feeling. That's the what research I did. And granted, I asked ChatGPT a question, and that was the extent of the research done here. I understand that. Plus, I have my own experiences. I have 2 degrees in English in creative writing, and writing fiction and novels was a part of that education as well. But that leads me to my final point here, and that is, does this matter? Does the length of our novels and our stories need to be a certain length? And I guess that depends on what you want to do with it. If our intent is to market a book and sell it and have an expectation of genre be met in the market, then yeah, we probably do need to fall within a certain range. I don't want to write a science fiction novel that's 40,000 words and expect it to compete with 100,000 word novels. I'm not going to develop a world. I'm not going to build a world in an epic fantasy with epic creatures and magic and the rules that are established with this world and all of the dozens and hundreds of characters that might be in an epic fantasy. Well, I'm not going to do that in 50,000 words. So if we want to meet readers at their expectation for genre and then wow them with our stories, with the plot that we've come up with, well, then we probably should follow some of these conventions that are put in front of us for what the market expects. That's if you plan to sell it. If you still want to put it out there and you've written a story that's 30,000, 40, 50,000 words, and you are satisfied with that story, you like how your characters develop, you like how your plot developed, you were able to wrap up all of your narrative plot lines, and you're satisfied with how it ended and how it developed, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it's 40,000 words. It doesn't matter that it didn't reach an 80,000 word mark. I wrote, and I'm currently writing Ghosts Horizon. I'm in the editing process now. And my goal for that book was 80,000 words. Well, it ended up being 72,000. So it's short of that goal. I'm still going to edit it. I'm still going to polish it up and get it ready for market. And will it meet the expectations of the Western genre? I don't know, but I'm still going to do it. So I guess my ultimate opinion on how long should a novel be is as long as your novel needs to be. So do you tell the story you want? Did you get the point across? Did the philosophies and the lessons that you wanted, did they come through? Did you tell the story you wanted to tell? And if you did that, then it doesn't matter how long your story is. And hopefully readers out there will pick it up and appreciate it for what it is. This is a hard thing, writing a novel, putting ourselves out there. So writing a novel is both the greatest act of hubris and the most vulnerable thing you can do. So however long your book is, I think it's great. I think we should have this discussion about how long stories should be, what people expect when they buy a book. That's all a good conversation to have. And let's also be aware that there's a person behind that story that's writing it, that's putting everything that they have into that story. It is a great, vulnerable position that we as writers put ourselves in when we ask readers to read our stories. So I applaud everyone that's out there writing, and especially those that put their work in front of other people to read. So thank you for sharing your stories with the world. Thank you for watching this video. I would like your comments and what your opinions are on novel length and storytelling in general. If you enjoyed this video or found it intriguing and you want additional writing related content, or you want to follow my writing journeys here on YouTube, please like and subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll be notified when new videos come out. And I hope to see you in the next video.